Hi guys, so we're back again with our part two, speaking about generational wealth. And yes, Gabby is with us again. And like I said, guys, she's also an entrepreneur. So Gabby, you might tell us a little about your business before we speak today?
Yes. So I have a hair studio. It's called Elegantly Blessed Hair Studio. You can find that on Instagram. And I'm also an upcoming podcast host. You can find me on Ruts, from Ruts to Royalty. And that's on your Apple Podcast, your Spotify. And you can also find me on Instagram at I am the underscore pearl. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So, yes. And when I'm talking about here as well on that podcast, I am linking, the royal girl in a busy, busy world and more or less catering to the everyday lady who doesn't necessarily feel royal every single day, but more or less we're polishing our gems in our crowns because we're royal, yes? Let's
Yes,
hear it
I
up for the royal
totally
girlies.
agree. I totally agree.
And we're definitely polishing our gems. So we're going to be talking about beauty, intentionality in terms of mindset growth. We're talking about faith, lots of other things, lots of other gems that are going to help us to really romanticize our life because your current rut is not your final destination. So that's it about me. And I'm so excited to be here with you talking about generational wealth today because wealth is not just about money, but also in terms of the intentional things that you decide that you will hold on to in terms of your value system, in terms of your money principles. And that is what's going to really get us through the long haul. So thanks so much for having me.
Okay, I'm so happy to have you again. And I'm happy that you agreed to join us on Let's Talk Money. Yes. Um, So, guys, like we said, let's talk money. That's where we shift your mindset, strengthen foundations, and build that will last. And you realize Gabby is also building a legacy for ladies.
Yes.
So for 2026, guys, you will notice, my royalty and my legacy starts to improve, right? Because Gabby's there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So Gabby will ensure, I look elegant at all times. I look royal
There
at
we go.
all times and all of
Yeah.
that. Right. But today we're going to be focusing on generational wealth.
Mhm.
That's our part two. But from a perspective, it's often misunderstood in our culture.
Mm.
Right. And we're thinking, what is she talking about? So there, guys, we're not looking at children carrying parents financially.
Mm.
But parents intentionally setting the foundation so children can build forward, not backward. We're not going to.
Needed.
We need to go.
Needed. Forward ever, backward never. That's what the
Right,
Rastas
right.
say.
Yes, yes. And I'm sure with Gabby's experience in education and social work, you might have noticed a lot of these situations.
Yes. It's very
Yeah.
prevalent. And sometimes it sets back a whole generation or two. It's sad.
Because you see, it's like um persons don't realize that generational wealth is not about parents sacrificing everything and
Mm,
later becoming financially dependent on their children.
mercy.
Yeah. So yes, you sacrifice, but not for you to become financially independent on your children. I don't know for Barbados, but in St. Lucia, some parents have that thing like so I'm gonna say it in English for you, and then I'm gonna say it in Creole for the St. Lucians.
Oh, I love it.
So for my St. Lucian peeps, the parents might say, "Mo fa wo ni pupoy ke mo." So basically they would be saying, I make you so you have to take care of me. So a lot of them have that mentality that they make you for you to take care of them.
My.
And we don't want that, guys. We don't want that. True generational wealth means parents prepare responsibly for their own future.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a retirement account for you to be retiring comfortably, you set that retirement account now.
Needed.
Yes, not your child is not your retirement account. You need to go to whichever financial institution that provides that special retirement account and set it up now. Because children are not, they should not be burdened with financially rescuing you.
To all those first children, I'd say those first children who feel as though, hey, it's their responsibility, or who they may not necessarily feel it's their responsibility, but it has been pushed on them. My heart goes out to you because I'm a first girl.
Mm-hmm.
I keep asking my parents, do you have something put down? I mean, even if you don't, tell me no, that I can plan, but don't give me any surprises. Please, no surprises whatsoever.
Yes, yes. Because each generation builds on a firm foundation that the for the one from the one before.
Yeah, yeah,
So for
yeah.
example, you have a lot of persons, um, probably not even from their grandparents, sometimes from their great grandparents. They purchased large estates back in the day because back in the day it was the prices were really reasonable. And probably they were part of those that could have afford purchasing an estate. So you find they purchase that estate, the estate is now divided between the kids, and it's still so much because sometimes it's still acres of land. So now the kids can now break it down and share it with their kids. And
Yeah.
depends on how big it is, sometimes it breaks down and goes, to the kids and the generations to come,
Yes,
the grandkids, the great grand, and everybody can benefit.
that's how we should live. In Barbados, I mean, I'd say in Trinidad and in St. Lucia, from where we sit in Barbados, it looks like a melting pot of cultures, right? Barbados is getting there. So when we look on, we admire the Indians and we say, wow,
Oh,
look how they
yes.
can come together. They could all
Mm-hmm.
appreciate each other, belong, live in the same household. But no, in Barbados, everybody wants to do their own thing. And so you don't necessarily have that collaboration. If you want to have a business, it is so hard to get your family members to invest in you. Mercy.
Let me tell you, it's so true. And the funny thing is, like, I find even in St. Lucia, you notice, and even in Trinidad and these places, you notice that the Indian culture maintains building generational wealth and providing for the generations to come. So you
Yes.
find that pattern continues compared around us, I don't know what to call us. I don't want to say Negroes, I don't want to say blacks, but whatever we are, African Americans.
I'm a
We
black
don't
girl,
maintain it.
okay? I am black and gold.
Agree. Yeah, so that's something because you see, a lot of persons have the misconception that success means the children taking care of you.
Mm.
Yeah, so you find sometimes children grow up, and we're not saying that your kids are not supposed to take care of their parents. We're not saying that because the Bible said, honor your mother and your father. So we're not saying not to take care of them,
There must be
but
an extent, like a boundary line, a limit.
thank
You
you.
know, not
That's
all the
right.
money pouring in. You can't pour
Right.
in if your cup isn't full. You should be pouring
Exactly.
out with your excess, with your overflow.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's where abundance come into play because if you feel that, hey, I am filled and I have excess and I can share that excess with my family members, with those in need, that's where it comes into play.
Yeah.
So persons need to understand that success, so it doesn't mean, and I think because it's so bad in our culture, sometimes they make certain people feel bad So you have a situation probably where let's say you come from a family where there's five siblings and
Mm-hmm.
one is probably the older one, because most times that happen a lot
Yes.
before. Now everybody has the opportunity to go to school, but before that happens a lot. So the older one didn't get to go to school. The younger ones did because the older one would have pushed through. So because the
Mm-hmm.
older one is less schooled and probably don't have that much of a decent job, it seemed to the others that their responsibility, after they're already at the lower end and they're struggling on a day-to-day, that they need to struggle and it's their responsibility to take care of the parents.
Well,
Yeah, and that's not what we're saying is
no,
generational wealth. No. Yes,
no.
you are supposed to take care of your parents to the best of your ability in their old age, but it's not like if you don't do it, you're cursed, or if you don't do it, you're a
You
bad
understand?
person. Because I mean, if you're struggling to put rice on the table for yourself, how do I expect you to put rice on the table for some seniors?
Good. Good. Okay. We're on the same page here. And I know
Yes.
that the listeners will definitely agree.
Yes, yes, yes. So, because legacy is not about building through pressure.
Ah, boy.
Because
I mean,
remember,
go ahead.
you remember in the last episode we said it's not about survival, but strategy. So if you're
Yes.
building legacy, it cannot be through pressure. It's
And we
built through
understand that's
planning.
how
Yeah.
diamonds are made. We understand that, the pearl is made through the irritant, but that's not the case here.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's built through
Right.
planning. When parents put
Yeah.
a system in place early, children are free. So you know you want to have that child, you start planning for the child. And even if you
Yes.
you didn't want the child, but hey, you get the
You have
results, you're
something.
pregnant. Start planning. I'm expecting, so let's start putting an education fund in place for the child.
Yes.
Ensure I have a retirement fund for myself because I'm not going to be dependent on that child to take care of me in my old age. Because
There you go.
sometimes the child may need a foundation and I may need to be the one to help them. Probably they want to start up their own business. I should be able to, even if don't give them the full startup fund, but at least give them something towards their startup.
I
Because
agree.
you may not be able to, let's say, buy them a house or give them a house, but you might be able to contribute some blocks towards the foundation. That would go a
Something.
long way compared to you pulling constantly and there was no foundation set that because the person is under pressure trying to set that foundation and care for you.
Yeah. And then that would defeat the whole purpose of having a generation to continue the legacy. What legacy? Because you're taking from it.
Correct, correct. So when the parents put a system in place very early, and you free your children, we have the growth, invest, expand, and prepare for the generation after them.
Needed.
Because guess what? You bless me, you gave me that foundation. Now I should be able to put things in place to bless the next generation.
Yeah.
And this is how we move forward. We don't think of it. There's one that probably why sometimes we struggle so much in the Caribbean. Because instead the
Hmm.
money go forward, it's going backward. How are we going in progress?
Mercy. Mercy.
So when parents do not plan financially, children often inherit because sometimes they inherit the parents' debt,
Financial
financial.
stress.
Yes, yes,
Stop.
yes, yes.
Oh my.
You inherit it. You're responsible. Your responsibility they were not prepared for. You're now responsible for that.
You understand? Like
And
you didn't
because
even
of
know.
that, yeah,
All of the things that you probably weren't even thinking about. You like, yes, you're thinking, hey, I have a older parent. okay, maybe I may need to pay for their bills. Fine. And then they're like, oh, I need to pay for my food. And then you're like, oh, they need dentures. And then they need this. Things that you didn't even think about. These are expenses that, you probably wouldn't even think about, apart from the fact that you're trying to build your own family. That's hard. That's
And the
hard.
other the other thing is it delays because of that pressure, it delay your goals.
Yes.
Because then there are things you want to achieve for yourself, but you can't achieve it because you have responsibility that you were not prepared for.
My,
So basically, instead of inheriting assets, you're inheriting obligations.
wow. That's a powerful one. Wow.
Yeah, there is no sustainable wealth. This is financial survival repeating itself. So breaking this cycle requires courage, honesty, and intentional action. We need
Hmm.
to put a strategy in place and we need to act on the strategy.
Yeah. This is to me now, I don't know, mental slavery with a different bull wrapped on it. That's
Well, that's what
sad.
it is. So it's like, yeah, you came out from physical slavery, but now you're in another stage of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's sad.
yes, it's something we need to note, especially for the parents now. Generational wealth always starts with the first builders, the
Right.
parents. So this means we budget intentionally, manage
Needed.
debt wisely, save consistently, plan for retirement. I can't stress on that more.
You understand? I'm just like, that's so true. That's so,
Yes,
I hope that the older generation could hear this podcast,
I
or
believe they would.
yeah.
I believe they would. And some of them may have recognized their mistakes.
I'm hoping.
So have insurance and emergency funds, preparing your legal documents. Don't make the same mistakes that your parents did.
You see the legal documents. That is important because imagine, like back in the day, somebody would say, I leave this for you. In Barbados, they would say, I leave this for you. And when that person dies, what are you gonna say? That person told me they left that for me. That's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna hold up. I'm so
Nope, nope.
sorry. I told my parents I'm sorry, but if you do not write anything down in a will, I'm just gonna walk away like nothing happens. If you really want it from me, write it down. I'm just gracefully gonna walk away. I'm not gonna fight for anything elegantly, so I'm just gonna walk away. No, please. And
Yeah.
funny enough, like that, family members that are not even close to you could come and take your property.
Yes, and that's what happens. A lot of persons lose, especially if their parents die at a very young age. They lose because the greedy ones would get all the tricks to snatch what doesn't belong to
Yes,
them.
yes, yes,
And I think up to a day like today, we still have a lot of land disputes,
yes.
which stems, that's not, and it didn't just stem from 2000. It's probably there from 19 whatever or 18 whatever, and it's still going on.
Wow, wow,
And
wow,
it's
wow.
because documentation were not prepared for that. Persons probably didn't believe in doing wills because probably they think, okay, my children will
Mm,
share and they'll be responsible. But death has a way of changing people that no one understands.
yes,
And that's why
yes.
we need to prepare for it. And apart from just preparing for retirement, guys, prepare for death. Have your death plan, have your FIP. I don't know what you'll call it in Barbados, but in St. Lucia, we have FIP where persons can save towards their death plan so they can get buried comfortably and all of that. Save
It's
towards
called
it.
Peace Assured in Barbados.
Right. Peace, and I think it's correct. Peace assured. When you die, die in peace. Thank you.
Peace Assured is an insurance plan, and
Mhm.
you make sure that you have that secured. So you put down every month on that to make sure that your funeral is covered, and then your
Correct.
family members just get a little something, a little thousand or so afterwards.
Right. So you want to put that in place. And a question I want parents that are viewing this podcast to ask themselves, if something happened to me tomorrow,
Mm,
or if something happens to me today, would my child be protected or overwhelmed?
wow.
And I think if you ask yourself this question, you'll notice what needs to be done to get it in order. Building first is not selfish, it's responsible.
It is.
Yes. And I mean, guys, yes, I'm the financial person, but Gabby deals with students and parents. Um, I'm
Families
sure
and
right, you see the impact.
yep. It's crazy.
Yeah, you see the impact of what happens when parents don't put something in place for their kids. And that's the most, you want to know that, hey, if I die now, that even if my child is young, that there's a fund in place that can take that child through university comfortably and not have to struggle and beg family members to help them through. And there is
Yeah.
probably something in place that they benefit from, but you want to ensure that it's in place.
Because that eases the mental load, that a child would have to
Mhm.
bear, and prohibits more or less mental ill health, because that could send somebody, well, we don't want to say mad. You understand?
But
But
that's what it
that
is.
yes, but it can make somebody ill. And that's not what we want. We should be preparing ourselves for generational wealth. And if by chance, listeners, your parents haven't done that, again, every successive generation must do better, and therefore it must start with you. Maybe you're in a rut right now and you feel as though, well, I feel as though I have to take care of this body and this body. I think that's where we need to set boundaries for ourselves
Yes,
and say, well,
yes.
unfortunately, I am unable to do such and such and such and such. This is how much I can do. Because you need to take care of your family first. You need to take care of you first. When I say
Right,
your
right.
family, I mean like your children. And so
Mm-hmm.
now you take care of the whole extended family without their contributing. No, please. You don't have a super lady cape or a superman cape on. That's gonna burn you out. And at the end of the day, that's not going to serve you well. That's going to be mental ill health. And we are focusing on mental wellness, generational wealth, and all of those good things.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, sometimes, persons are so focused on taking care of probably their parents, their family members, that they don't even take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And we have sad
Okay.
situations where they've been taking care of everyone, that as soon as the persons they've been taking care passed away, you find whoop, they in the hospital, they're
Yeah.
hospitalized or they pass away because they were focused on everyone else but themselves. And something I've learned very early, and especially throughout 2025, it taught me that, hey, you need to take care of yourself first. Your cup needs to be
Yes.
full in order for you to pour out into
Yeah.
others.
Yes, yes, yes. That's called caretaker burnout. And that's so prevalent. You understand? I find that we have so much information at our fingertips. Yes. I one thing that I've done, and I can say, when you listen to From Rut to Royalty, I'll be sharing gems that I would have learned and ascertained. And one thing for this 2025 that I I stopped is more or less, hey, I no longer want to be sick with people pleasing disease.
I agree. I totally agree. I
No
totally
longer sick
agree.
with that. I am just like, bye, you do not have me. No, please. So for 2026, as we are there flourishing and polishing those gems, we are focusing on our mental wellness and
Yep.
generational wealth.
Correct, correct. And for us to be able to build that generational wealth, we need that
Yes,
mental wellness.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Because just thinking of it, money doesn't create generational wealth.
Not alone. No.
Right. So parents must pass on, whether it's financial literacy, and we would have explained that in the last
Mhm.
podcast, discipline, values around money, values around stewardship, work ethics. I think this one is a big one.
Yes.
Yes. Faith and integrity.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. And long-term thinking, guys. We're not thinking for the
Mm-hmm.
now. We need to think for the future.
Why?
Children should not only inherit assets, they should inherit understanding. A child who understands money will protect what is passed on.
Yes. Yes.
A child who does not will lose it. And that's what we
Yeah.
don't want, because even if, yeah, you say, yes, I'm planning for generational wealth, I'm taking care of myself, I'm putting this in place, put my retirement fund in place, put my death plan in place, put the child's education fund in place. If that child don't understand how to manage money, how to be a good steward, it will vanish away.
Yeah.
So financial literacy is important. And the values and importance of money is also important.
Mm-hmm.
And as Gabby was speaking, another thing that came to mind, we should note that the goal is not for wealth to stop with one generation.
That's it.
Children must be taught how to manage what they receive, how to grow it responsibly, how to prepare their children. And that's something I think was not passed on for a lot of persons.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to understand how to grow it, how to manage it, and how to prepare your children to receive these same disciplines and values. Generational wealth works like a relay race. Each generation runs the leg well, then pass the
I like
baton.
that. I like that.
Yes. So we need to be able to pass on the
And
baton
it's not a 100-meter
intact.
sprint. Yeah, yeah. It's not that for by one relay where you run the 100 and you pass on. No, it's literally a long distance baton race.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
where you in it for the long haul. You let your money grow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely manage that and you have something to pass on.
Yeah, so we don't want it to deplete. We don't want it to be damaged. We don't want it to be rushed.
No.
We want to ensure that we take good care of it so that it's passed on in the right way.
Yep.
Right. And as we come to the closing and to wrap up, this will be my final word. So, Gabby, you can put yours in. True generational wealth means parents stand strong financially, children are empowered, not pressured. Future generations starts ahead, not behind. So we do not build wealth so our children must carry us.
Mm.
We build wealth so our children can carry the vision forward. Your legacy does not begin when you die. It begins with how you plan today.
I like that. I like that. And my piece to add on to that
Mhm.
is your present rut is not your final destination.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
And because it's not your final destination, create take the lessons in the memories that you create, take all of the lessons that you're learning in this daily life and say, hey, maybe I did not have the best financial advisor as a parent, but
Mhm.
I am going to invest in me, in my now, so that my future can be better. So, what you're doing is polishing those gems so that you can wear that crown, straighten it. You can wear that crown, and that could be passed on to your future generation.
Well said, well said, and I love it. And I'm gonna take it on. I'm gonna take it to ensure that it's
Yeah.
passed on to my future generation. So, guys, we thank you for listening to Let's Talk Money. Don't forget, Gabby's information will be in the description box below so that you can subscribe and get in touch with her and her community. Don't forget to subscribe to Let's Talk Money, share it. So if you find that this podcast was one that you enjoyed and you want to share it with your parents, your friends, your family members, your coworkers,
Yes.
whoever, share it and ensure that you subscribe so that you can get all other future podcasts. So, and hopefully this wouldn't be the last podcast Gabby will do with Let's Talk Money, but she'll be back again sometime later on in the year
Yes.
and we can continue speaking about not just only money, but mindset that will help persons.
Oh, that would be lovely. That
Yes,
would be lovely.
that will help
Money
persons.
mindset.
That's
Oh, that's
correct.
good. Yeah.
Yes,
Needed,
yes.
needed,
Just can
needed.
help persons, with their royalty.
Of
So they can
course.
end 2026 on a good note.
Yes. I mean, it's a plan in advance.
Yes, yes.
Have that mind upcoming month. So thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure and I'll be happy to join you next time.
No problem. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye. Take care,
Bye.
everyone.